Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL Season 26. This is round number 6, and we go to one of the new tracks in the game, Zandvoort, for the Dutch Grand Prix. The last time a new track was on the PSGL calendar was Season 21, and that was the French Grand Prix in Paul Ricard. My name is Jess, and joining me in the commentary box, as per usual, we got Dan.
Once again, a pleasure to be here, Jess. Cannot wait for the Dutch Grand Prix. For F1 2020, these guys have never driven an F1 car around here. It looks like sunny skies before qualifying, and I think that's a relief for a lot of people.
Yeah, a new track, even playing field for most of these guys. Some people actually raced here in other leagues and also for the Trovo event as well, so it provided some spectacular action, but we don't know what the previous F2 races were like. Obviously, we never hosted one before. The Dutch Grand Prix, though, was first hosted in 1952, with Alberto Ascari winning the first one, and the last ever Dutch Grand Prix winner was Niki Lauda back in 1985 in his McLaren, so that was very, very exciting. So it has 14 corners with 4 to the left and 10 to the right, looking at the track map right now, and as you can see, we got 3 DRS zones, 2 DRS zones for overtaking, 1 at the start-finish straight, and then 1 at the back straight as well, and that's where we're probably going to see the most overtaking opportunities tonight. And last week we saw Rafa's streak come to an end. Rafa did not win a race. In fact, Rafa didn't even get in the points. It was the AlphaTauri of Will who took his first ever victory in F2 this season. It's his first one, I think, ever since season 23, where he took the F2 title.
Well, Will was the David that took down Goliath. Everyone expected in the wet weather that Rafa would end up on top, but it was actually the AlphaTauri car to take control and win that Grand Prix by quite some way as well.
It was in the wet conditions, and pretty much I think 4 out of the 5 races have been wet affected, so the drivers I think today are going to hope that it's not going to be wet affected. But we'll just go through the standings now. Rafa leads the way with 66 points. Toxic Tomato with 44 points. So Williams still have that 1-2, with Fad in third with 34 points. Just look at the gap as well between Rafa and Toxic as well. Will with his win promotes himself to 4th place with 30. And we got Greeny in 5th place after him getting a podium last week. And Pablo in 6th, Dario in 7th, who's got disqualified from the session. I don't know why, we'll go through that in a minute. Midnight in 8th, Big C in 9th, he keeps his point streak, and we got Hadler in 10th. And we got CT Brain in 11th, Ski Van in 12th, the Key to 13th, Name Changer 14th, Benny in 15th, Kurax in 16th, Gordon in 17th, Cedric in 18th. And then we've got Compassion and Pat still yet to score. And without further ado, if I can get my scenes right, there we go straight to the track, and looking at this down, we've got a full grid tonight.
Absolutely, that is great to see that we've got some returning drivers. Of course, a new driver who is not new, but he is returning to season 26. It is VRT Luke, who's replaced Pablo, who out of nowhere just left the lead. So now he's come back here. No, Luke's just gone off at turn 7 there, as I was watching him, but he is back in a full-time seat.
Well, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. I think that was the answer to Luke, really, but it came as a bit of a shock to quite a few of us that Pablo left the league, because he had a really good result in the last track before Belgium, but in Belgium he just didn't have one of the best results. But you know, some people come and go, and that's what it is. And Luke's taking the opportunities with both hands. His wheel is fixed, and he's putting the pedal to the metal right now as he's going towards the Audi section. And the new patch has come into force, which means we can see the rainbow Re-Racers 1 livery on the McLaren. And I've got to say, that looks very nice, doesn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it does actually really like that they finally updated the livery. McLaren also had the gold on the car. But from what I saw in the patch, there's no online fixes, unless I'm blind, but I don't think I am. So when are Codebox is going to bring out an online patch?
Yeah, that is a question that we've been wanting those fixes for quite a long time, but they just haven't seemed to brought it really, which is a bit unfortunate. But you know, It happens, and we're not going to dwell on it too much, really. And Zandvoort is like an old school track with its fast band challenging corners, natural dunes as well. They also added the banking towards the final corner, which I really, really love, one of my favourite corners on the circuit. And it's mainly using permanent track and a bit of public roads as well that snake through the dunes as well. And Le Mans winner Sammy Davis actually helps with a bit of this track as well. The banking that Cedric just got past now kind of reminds me of Indianapolis in the way, with the way that it's shaped. So I wonder how these drivers are going to do with tonight, and especially in the wet, because we've seen a lot of PSGL races where it was wet in Zandvoort, including yours, where you finally managed to get a point. Woo! So yeah, it must have been hard as a driver racing in these wet conditions.
I can't even remember if it was wet or not around Zandvoort. It's already slipped my mind. But, I've definitely driven on the wet in Zandvoort here, and it is very, very challenging. I'm not the most brilliant driver in the world, so I bet these guys can handle it a little bit better than I can. But that's just how it is, really. It is a very tough track, especially in the damp conditions.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently we're having audio issues, which I need to sort out very quickly. That's why my game sound was a bit loud for some weird reason, but luckily I think it's all good now. Just let me know if the game audio is a lot better. Fingers crossed about that. If not, I'll see if I could try and fix it. Now, we don't know why Dario is disqualified. I think when we last checked, he was parked in a dangerous location, apparently. So, yeah. So that is interesting. And my mic's cracking, apparently. So I'll need to fix that. Just give me a second.
Well, from what I saw on my own screen, was that Dario left the session before, and then I think his AI car must have gone in disqualified or something. But unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to put in a lap at all, and gone for a little spin. He's got damage, and drivers really are coming under pressure at that turn 7. Already seen 2 offs at that part of the track. Yellow flags throughout all the sectors as well, so it really does show that it is a new game. Track to the game, because everyone is really struggling with it. And we could see some surprise results. One surprise I'm looking at right now, Celtic Tomato down in 17th position on a 109.2.
Yeah, that's not good. I think I'm trying to fix my audio as we speak. Typical. We're getting technical issues as we speak right now. Apparently I sound like a Dalek, apparently. I need to actually hear myself to actually see if I'm sounding all right. I think I'm all right at the moment. I'll need to double check. Do I sound like a Dalek? I think I'm all right now. Let me know if I'm okay, folks, as we're about to get a hot lap going. I don't know why it wasn't working before, but yeah. Toxic Tomato down in 17th, only on the medium compounded tyres. Yeah, that set his lap on the mediums, but he's on the softs now, but he doesn't have that long to go to get a competitive lap time on the soft tyres either. Another Williams livery also with the rainbow as well, which is pretty cool as well. So that is interesting. So I believe Toxic is about to finish our lap. That is a 108.3 for him, which puts him in a P2.
The top 4 all on a 108.3. So once again, this is one of the most competitive grids we've ever seen. As I say that, Rafa just bangs on a lap. That's 2 tenths faster. We've not really paid too much attention to the top. But right now, I'm actually quite shocked that Kurak's is doing really well. He's not at the best start to the season. But this could be the boost that he needs. And he's doing really well on the front row of the grid on a track that is notoriously difficult to make an overtake on.
Yeah, indeed. And Kurat's obviously joined IGK recently, the esports team that is on the up, I've got to say. Won the Trovo Sprint Cup just a few weeks ago, and they have entered the Trovo League. That is, well, the qualifiers are starting on Wednesday, and a few other teams have as well. So they're looking like the favourites to actually qualify for this, and they've got a few good drivers in this as well. So Kurat is about to come across the line as, no, he's not. He's going in the pits too to finish his lap. Rafa goes on pole too. The lap times are not showing on my screen at the moment, which is annoying. It's only showing on the timing sheet, so I'll have to keep an eye on the timing sheets very, very quickly as Dario just joined the session, ready to start his session when he starts at the back. I'm just trying to find out who's about to start a lap so I can go on board with a hot lap. I think the nearest, will be Will, last week's race winner. I've got to say, he's got a lot of pressure based on last week's race victory, but, you know, I think he's taking the pressure into both hands. We've got two F2 race champions in the tier, and obviously both of them would want to win it. We've got Rafa, who's on the up. Obviously, he had his down moments like Lewis Hamilton did in Italy, but, you know, he's on a roll right now, Will, and he's looking to be consistent, so it makes sense we go on board with him on a lap. So here goes Will then towards the start-finish straight. You're going to get in the DRS line as early as you can for turn 1. Brake to the 150-metre board on the left side. Go full force as the car is straight. Your next turning point is the 50-metre board onto right-hand curb. Kovacs was in the way here. That's not very good as the traffic here is a big, I think is a big factor in this race, as you're now going to go full throttle here for the majority of this corner until you just stay in 6th gear, and then you're going to, as he went a bit squirmy there as he goes to the right-hand curve, and then approaching the start of sector 2, and then the right-hand curve again into 3rd gear. You're going to shift to 4th gear, you're going to minimise traction, and then you're going to open the DRS. Your next braking point is just before the curb starts on the left-hand side, and then you're going to aim for the right-hand curb and then into the left once again. Not the cleanest from laps from Will at the moment as he goes towards the banking, but he is probably going to go higher than he was at the moment, but we shall see. And Will has invalidated, so the curse of me commentating on a hot lap continues.
Well, he was looking quite scruffy on that lap. Many mistakes that I noticed from the AlphaTauri driver, and then that invalidation at turn 14 was just the final nail in the coffin. Luckily, he's got a lot of time left to actually fit on another set of tyres and then go for another run. If you don't mind, I'll run on board with CC Brain, currently coming through a 2nd sector up towards turn number 11 or 10, I believe this is, and then open the DRS. Didn't use as much of the exit curb as I would have, but who am I to judge as now coming into turn 11 at the end of the DRS straight through this slow part of the track, probably the slowest sector on the circuit, and now up towards turn 13 and 14, looking like a pretty decent lap from the Ferrari car. I wouldn't be surprised to see himself in the top 10, getting the tightest run up to the line. What will CC Brain do here?
1086.
He improved, but I don't think he jumped up any positions. It's a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame for the Ferrari driver. Love his helmet, by the way. It kind of matches, I think, Alonso's, with the Spanish kind of looking away. It is kind of cool, but yeah, times are pretty close already around Zandvoort. One of the shortest laps, one of the shortest times on the calendar in terms of lap time. Also, we got Monaco and Austria as well. Obviously, Austria was in round number 1, and then we go here to Zandvoort here, round number 6, and then the crunch point of the season. So any small mistake could cost them. And another thing to point out with this new patch as well, which I think a few people will be happy about, a few people won't be happy about, they can actually hold the overtake button now instead of actually just turning it on and just leaving it on. You could just hold it until you're ready to not use it. And that is actually quite a great feature that these guys have been given a choice pretty much, because I made a mistake at the start of this game where I thought to use the overtake button you would just hold the X button on the wheel, but you couldn't do that. But now we can actually do that as CC Brain now goes into the pits.
It's a really nice feature. It's realistic to real life as well, because I've heard on the radio, press and hold overtake for 5 seconds. So and also will just eliminate you pretty much messing up your entire run completely, or just a lap, because you're holding the overtake for too long. So that is a very nice feature. I still would like some online fixes, please, and thank you, Codemasters.
Yes, please. I would love that, please. But Name Changer, who's recently got pole as well, is looking to improve on his lap time right now as he goes through the next part of the section. Now, Zandvoort, in a way, it's name changer. I think that does not help his lap. I think that's a yellow flag even before he got there as well. But I think that would have caused a yellow flag there too. And that is very, very frustrating. I mean, that from the pole sitter a few weeks ago, he's not having the best of times. He had a good result a few races ago. He's on 7 points, so he's 14th. But he's got a lot of catching up to do, this Shizou driver in the Red Bull. And he's probably going to go into the pits now, if everybody is as well. And I would expect, looking at these times, I would expect everybody just to just floor it and go pretty much as late as they can, but to try and avoid what happened in Monza in real life, of course.
Well, Monza always does provide that, but I think these guys will try and back off each other a little bit. It looks like the one who's probably going to start their final one first is going to be Luke, actually, unless he's going to come to the pits because he's got a blinking red fuel light. So that means Compassion will be the first one to pull the trigger. So he's going to have a lot of clear air in front of him, and which is going to be good because you're not going to be held up from anyone behind. And remember, I hope these guys remember that no slipstreaming is allowed from your teammates or just waiting them by.
Yeah, obviously Compassion is one of the new drivers like a few races ago, so maybe he would need to pay attention to that rule. But most of these guys have been here since the start and know about the rule. And, I heard also in esports, slipstream is banned there as well, and a few other PC leagues too. So it is kind of in pretty much matching the big leagues on any of platforms really that is not allowed, and that means you're only going to rely on yourself, and that's what Compassion has to do, is he's going to get some good time set lap time. I do believe he has 2 more laps, so if he manages the DRS right, he could be on for a cracker here, but depends on whether he has enough fuel too. We do have a Ferrari which is on a lap 2. I think it's Greeny LFC, but he's on 1 lap old softs at the moment, so he's got some time to do. I think Ski Run will probably go into the pits as well. Benny is going to go out for his final lap too. A little bit of a lock-up going into turn 1. That might cost him there. Tyre temperatures are going to be a bit of a thing. We're not going to see softs to mediums here, that's for sure, as Gonanen has retired from the session. I'm just trying to see where he's he's retired from the pit lane. Because, I see a Red Bull in the pits, and I assume that's him, because the other Red Bull, name changer, he is out on a lap, just about to start his lap. But who would you see can get pole today? Because the top 3 is separated by 5, almost 6 hundredths of a second.
I would say that Rafa will take pole here. I'm more interested in the time, because a lot of the guys in F1 have been doing high 107s, 107.8. I think Jarno Opmeyer did a 107.6 recently, so I'd expect these guys to at least dip into the 1 minute 7, and I hope they can. But Rafa isn't improving through the first section. McLaren does get out of the way for him, and a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 9. It's not looking the cleanest lap for Rafa right now, so someone could capitalise on this, and so we'll see what he does for the second section. He's 2 tenths down on this run.
Toxic Tomato just went purple sector 2. So Toxic Tomato is looking quicker. Not that much quicker, but it still says purple. So the checker flag is about to drop then as they all go through the Audi section. Rafa's going to cross the line. And then there's a Haas car that's about to cross the line as well. Pat goes 4th place. That's pretty good from Pat. Toxic Tomato gets on pole position. But look at the gap between him and his teammate. 9 thousandths of a second. We got Kurats in the racing point. He's purple sector 2 now. He is looking to get his first pole of the season. What about Greeny LFC as well? Greeny LFC is slowing down, so he's not going to improve. We've got an AlphaTauri who's about to cross the line. I'm not sure which one it is. It's Will. He could only manage 16. Kurat is about to take the shortest run to the line. What is going to be? It is pole by 4 hundredths of a second. I'm just seeing, what happened there? There's a Renault that stopped in the middle of the track. That's not helped people on their laps, I've got to say. That was a very weird scenario, I've got to say. Benny's slowing down. Ski Van's not improving. Neither's Compassion. He's running out of fuel. So I do believe that's it. And for the very first time, we got a different pole sitter in the world. Kurat on the pole with a 108.0. And I can't wait to see what F1's pole times are like. I think we could see 107s from the F1 guys for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been talking to some of them lately, and or just one of them. I've been talking to Wilson CRG Spark. He's been pushing himself a lot in practice, so hopefully he can do well in the race in qualifying. There's a whole load of guys that can get in the 107s, but a 108.0, that is not a bad lap time by any means. The entire field separated by 8 tenths.
That is just incredible from Kurat. I mean, he needed to get his season off to a start from the very beginning. He's only got 2 points. As far as I'm aware, if I have a look at our stats, where did he get those 2 points from? He got it in Hungary. So that was 3 or 4 races to go. So if he does well tonight, he can send shockwaves to the rest of the paddocks. We got Kurat, Salty Tomato, then Rafa, Pat, Faz, Greeny, Lakitu, Big C, Midnight, and then Name Changer rounds up your top 10. And then we got Hadler, Benny, Skivan, Cedric, Compassion Will, CC Bray, Nagolanen, and then Luke in 19th with Dario being disqualified. I'm sure Dario will be disappointed with that, but this is the closest qualifying we've seen all season. The top 19 separated by just almost 8 tenths per second. Watch out, F1.
That really is quite something. It'd be interesting to see where Dario gets up to in the grid. He's had a good start to his season, coming in a little bit later than everyone else. He didn't get points last time out in Belgium, but he's got a podium to his name and only 3 starts. So on a track that it's difficult to overtake on, don't get me wrong, there's not many places to get past. It'll be interesting to see where he can find himself, most likely on the alt strap.
Yeah, well, I think so. Remember, I was commentating on the Trovo League as well, and one of the F1 drivers, IGK Gill, finished in second after doing the alternate strategy and did mediums to softs, which was kind of unheard of. We thought, right, nah, he wasn't going to make it to the end on the soft compound, the tyres, but he actually did. But luckily, there was a big gap, and there was people battling behind as well. So, I mean, we could see something go to the extreme today, but we could see Gil trying to do the same in F1 later on today as well. But yeah, I mean, the mediums don't last that long around here. If I just look at the data, it lasts about 20 laps, and there's 36 laps. So if I was the drivers, probably around about soft to hards will be the best option, pitting around lap 11 to 13, or if you want to do the alternate strat, maybe do mediums to hards, lap 14 to 16. A few people gone for the hards though. Will, I'm not surprised with. He's going for the alternate strategy. Compassion, we got CC Brain as well, and Luke too, so they're potentially going to do hards to soft, so I wonder how that's going to work out. It's not known to be a good racing tyre for the start of the race. You're going to lose a lot of positions, but they may think that the other guys are going to have collisions, but this is F2 at the end of the day. Anything can happen in Formula 1.
Absolutely. I think these guys definitely do have the capability to keep it clean. I'd watch out for the 2 Haas drivers at the end of the race, Hadler and Benny, both on the hard tyres. They're probably going to work together in this race as well, since they're both part of that NWS team. And they won't be quick from the start. They might get jumped by Skivan and M&T Cedric, but in the long run, it will pay off that gamble on the hards unless we see a safety car, which ruins their strategy.
Yeah, I mean, safety cars are quite common around here, and believe it or not, there's no rain. There's no rain in the sky right now, which is, I've got to say, a surprise for these drivers, as we were expecting rain pretty much the whole day. I was like, right, Zandvoort's going to rain. It rained for most of the races in PSGL, but it's turned the tide here, and we could see rain towards the end, but I'm not looking at the F2 chat. I'm not going to get spoiled. Let us know who you think is going to win the race, as we're waiting for the last few cars to make it to their grid slots, as the first race in Zandvoort on PSGL is about to start. Now, watch out for the 2 Williams cars as they head towards turn 1. They're going to look insanely quick of the start. Kurats is not used to starting on the front row, but let's see how he does now. The 5 red lights are on, and we are underway. Looks like Toxic Tomato has got a much better start than Kurats, and he does, and he's already in the lead into turn 1. We can see if Rafa is going to try and hold on as well to try and take P2 away from Kurats, but it looks like Kurats holds on for now. But we can see Kurats and Toxic Tomato going side by side into turn 3 and 4. It's a really hard overtaking opportunity, but they're still trying to make it work. Look at them all going wheel to wheel here, and I think there was a little bit of a lumps out there from Kurats, but they take the lead as Cedric has retired from the session. Oh my goodness, Gonan had a huge flip there. I didn't see what happened there, but already we lost 2 cars in this Grand Prix, and surprise, surprise, we've had a safety car.
Well, I'm actually quite upset about that one. I was really enjoying that fight between Kurax and Toxic Tomato. I thought, okay, it's lap 1, Kurax isn't going to try and fight this too hard. Then all of a sudden, into turn 3, he dives it to the outside. They run side by side through turns 4 to 6, and then he gets the move done by turn 7. Unfortunately, that battle was cut short by the safety car. 2 retirements already. That is quite something. Gonan and Cedric both are frustrated with their season so far. Not the most points for both of them. I believe it's combined about 4 between the two. So really disappointing for the 2 of them. They've just got to buckle down and get ready for Italy next week.
Yeah, and Gonan, I think Gonan's only got 1 point, so he's got a lot to live up to, and he is he's not gonna like that at all. So this is gonna be interesting as well. But what would I do if I was some of these drivers? Will I opt to do the 2-stop strat? Would I go on the medium compounded tyres, or would I stay on the softs? But if you stay on the softs, the huge advantage is going to be for these drivers is that they can stretch out the soft stint for quite a bit. The predicted strategy was obviously lap 11 to 13. It could be potentially lap 13 to 15 with the safety car period. It depends how long the safety car is there for, and it depends on what the other guys tend to do. But most of these guys are going to be in dirty air as well, so they're going to be stuck behind other cars. Kurats is struggling on that safety car. What's going on?
Oh no! What's
going on with this safety car?
Right, so what happened was that Kurax and just Kurax was weaving, and then he actually almost spun the car. Now he's trying to let Toxic Tomato by, but Toxic doesn't want to go past. I don't know what they're doing. They're just letting the safety car run away with this. Now, I think Kurax and Rafa both have penalties. What is happening?
I don't get it. I'm sure the penalties will be removed. I just don't understand. I think the game might have just told them to let each other through. I don't know. I've experienced this in F1 2019. It was around Abu Dhabi, and literally almost the whole field got disqualified. And oh my, where is this? The safety car? You can see the safety car ahead of them. Kurats has gone off. It's probably the weirdest glitch I've ever seen. And we got most of these guys trying to catch up to them. You can definitely tell that the game has not fixed the safety car. And that means Kurats has dropped. We got a few people onto the pit lane. So we got Rafa's in the pit. So he's probably going to go for the 2-stop. Or he might have got damage. We don't know. He's probably going to serve his 5-second stock go as well. So he goes in. Yep, he's serving his stock go. Name changer's got a 5-second penalty as well. What is going on? And yep, Rafa's got damage. So again, Rafa's having bad luck as it seems. Maybe the season is starting to turn on its head for the Williams driver of Rafa. He's all the way down in last place now. Everybody else has stayed out. Rafa going on the softs though. That's interesting. I'm guessing he wants to carry on his strategy as he left off.
Well, then the same thing kind of happened with the 2 Renault cars of Faz and the G2. They were going so slow on the straight, and Faz now has a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. So I have no clue what is going on with this safety car. It all started with Kurax doing a half spin, going off the circuit, and then he might have lost the position to Toxic Tomato, and they were both getting illegal overtakes on each other. But It's such a strange glitch. I've never seen anything. It might not even be a glitch. It might just be miscommunication between the drivers. But now the safety car is in this lap, so we'll get underway very soon. Penalty coming out for Rafa and Kurak. Kurak now with 10 seconds added to his race time, and he has to serve them.
Yeah, Rafa's already served his penalties already, so he's completely clean, whereas Kurak's hasn't. So when he next pits, that's what Kurak has got to think about. Toxic Tomato, I don't think, has a penalty. So we will see as well. Dario is all the way up into 12th. Don't forget he started last. So already Dario's had a really good start. Toxic Tomato's had a really good restart off the line. Let's see if Kurat can get the launch off his teammate. We'll have to find out. Everyone is trying to make some moves up into turn 1. Pat, a brilliant move up the inside, up into P2 already. And he's trying to gain some time on Toxic Tomato, but already Toxic Tomato is quicker than everyone. We've got the 2 Renault cars fighting as well. We've got Williams, then 2 Racing Points, then 2 Renaults, and then we've got a Ferrari, Mercedes, and a Red Bull fighting with each other. Who would have thought it? 3 of the top teams in real life fighting with each other. Name Changer almost tried to have a look for a move past Big C, but unfortunately couldn't quite get it done for now. Will, last week's race winner, all the way down in 17th. Luckily he hasn't retired yet. Hopefully we won't see the same thing to what happened to Gazzy in real life, then he's retired, but hopefully not. Hopefully Will stays in this race, but he's on the hard, so he's got a lot of work to do. I think he's dropped a few positions mainly because the hard tyres were super slow, and the hard runners, that's going to be key, because they had to warm their tyres even more due to the fact they were going in reduced speed. So, you know, probably the people on the hard tyres have probably shot themselves in the foot. I don't know, but we'll see.
Well, now the battle for 11th position continues as now Dario moves ahead of his teammate Compassion. Different compounds of tyres, different strategies. Dario will be quicker at this point in the race. Now he has to hunt down Rafa. Rafa's going to come into the pits again for whatever reason that is, but he might pick up some more damage, or he's just banking another safety car. I think he's getting another wing change.
Yep, he is. Rafa is not liking this race at all. And he was pretty confident going into this race, but unfortunately I think the confidence is definitely going on a downhill at the moment. So Rafa is all the way down in last place again. He's on the hards. He's going to try and make this strategy work, but he's already 27 seconds behind the next car, which is Will. So Williams in first place, not realistic. Williams in last place, realistic, but on this F2 grid, Rafa being in last of the finishes is not very realistic at all. Let's see if he can climb up a little bit as well. We are starting to see some moves go on the field. I think the closest potentially is, potential with Midnight and Name Changer. DRS is enabled, but we won't see it until we head towards the next back DRS straight, because obviously it doesn't get, just watch out for the detection zone as well. I think Midnight's gained a bit on Name Changer due to him going off a little bit. As we can see, Big C also catching as well. We can see, I think the DRS trades will start to emerge. I think we could see what happened in Spain, where people are just trying to get the moves, but they just can't do it due to the fact it's so hard to overtake.
Well, yeah, they're all just going to be running in a big train at the moment, and further down you're on that train, the more affected by dirty air you are. So I just saw a name change going to track a little bit. I think Will's now made a move on Luke, and Luke's actually going to fight him back into turn number 10, going to hold him around the outside of the long sweeping left-hander, kind of like the laser final corner. But Will is going to hold on, and now he's trying to fight him back. Is Luke, and on the outside of turn 11, yeah, that's not a move that you're going to make, so he's going to stick behind in 17th, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is a shame, but Luke, he's got a little catching up to do on the same strategy. Next on the same strategy for Will is CC Brain, who is 11th at the moment. He's looking to score more points, but don't forget the point system is different in PSGL compared to other leagues. First place gets you 16 points rather than 25, which makes the whole grid even closer if you think about it. And we could see another race winner. Don't forget, Toxic Tomorrow 2 times this season had the race win on track. Both of those times he lost it due to penalties. If he wants to get this race win today, he's got to keep clean and free from penalties, because otherwise we could see another person that we least expect take the race win, and we could see another race where the Williams just loses the race win after being so dominant for the whole season. But I've got to say, Pat doing so well. He did a very good qualifying session. He's matching Toxic Tomato's pace. He's got the fastest lap at the moment, but only a few tenths, might I add. But Pat's had a bad start to the season as well. He's the only driver who's been here the whole season to score no points this season. And he could climb up the field massively if he gets a good result today. And, you know, I don't want to jinx him here, but he's doing very well trying to match up between him and his teammate. So things are looking positive for the Racing Point driver of Pat. Let's hope he can keep this up.
Absolutely, he's been really frustrated with how his season's gone so far. But someone who I think will be pleased with the season, Will, currently fighting for 15th position at the moment, which is not where we'd normally see him. He's consistently in the points. He finally gets past CC Brain. So Will seems to be on a charge in this race, but all that battling lost him a bit of time to Benny ahead of him, who now rears the really long train that is actually breaking up just a little bit as the laps go by.
Yeah, exactly. And the more you're battling with Will, the more time you're definitely going to lose. So Will will need to get past Benny, I think, even more. As we do have a yellow flag, and that's an Alfa Romeo. That's Dario, who's had a really good start from last on the grid. He's going to be in danger of being last again. Has he got damage? That's the more important factor. No, he hasn't. He's got... Oh, he might have lost a bit of his end plate, but he looks fine to me. But I don't think his medium tyres look good right now. I think his back rear tyres are starting to lose it, as you can see from the lockup. When you have a spin on F1 2020, you're just going to lose so much tyre temperature. Will Dario opt to go into the pits? Yes, he does. So I'm guessing he does have a bit of damage that we don't know about. Maybe it's a minor damage, but I'm guessing he just wants to go in. I think he wants to get that undercut anyway. No, but it is a bit of damage. There must have been visual damage that we didn't see then. So he gets that wing change onto the hard tyres. It's going to be an ask for him to get to the end. He's probably going to hope for another safety car, but it's not over. But that means now Dario is back up in last place and Rafa overtakes him.
But I did see that his left end plate was actually completely gone once he made that contact with the wall. So he did have to pit. I think he actually did have some damage to the actual main component of the wing as well. So it was definitely the right point to box. He's got a little bit of a stretch if he wants to go to the end on these on the same set of tyres. He's looking at doing I think 27 laps on this set of hard tyres, which I don't know if they can do or not off the top of my head. But it will be a challenge. Kurak's the first of the soft runners to come into the pits. This is going to be the time where they will start to come in, I think.
Yep, lap 10, the undercut. Most people will start to pit around about lap 11. And don't forget, Kurak is serving his 5-second stop go, or 10-second stop go. I can't remember which one it was. So he serves it out of the way, and that's his first penalty done. And he's going to drop all the way down to 16th place now. But at least he's going to find some ground for the other hard runners that have been on those tyres for so long. So what is Pat going to do now? Pat has got to respond, really, because otherwise Toxic Tomato may jump the bullet first. Toxic has the advantage. He's at the front, but Pat could sense his opportunity to try and do this. Maybe Kurat's being at lower in the grid now would force him to have cleaner air, and he could save his tyres a bit more. But if you're near the front, you're going to lose so much tyre wear, and you probably will have to do a bit of fuel saving as well and short shifting. But we will see. Will one of these guys jump the bullet and go into the pits? Toxic does, and I think Pat has to, which he does. And he goes in. Oh my goodness, that was close from Pat, but he does get a 5-second penalty. Both Racing Points getting 5-second penalties today, which he will, and he does serve now. So luckily the game has fixed it that if you get it in the pit lane, straight away you serve it, which I think is a good idea, I've got to say. Or you might have served it from earlier on, I'm not entirely sure. But Toxic Tomato goes ahead of Pat quite comfortably, and also Kurat's too. So he's going to have quite a comfortable gap now, and he's chasing down the other hard runners as well. Lakitu is the leading soft runner for now, but he's got to think about pitting soon as well. Greeny as well, big C2. You can see the crossover point is really starting to come into effect here as well. I think around about in a few laps we'll see the crossover point come into fruition if they do decide to stay on those softs for quite a long time, because they last about 14 laps here.
Yeah, they will begin to die out. They're definitely going to be feeling the wear around this point. So lap 11 to 12 is normally where I would box in Zandvoort on the soft tyres. So I'd expect a lot of these guys to come to the pits now. Bit of an early stop coming out from Kurax, and he is right on the back of his teammate after they both serve penalties. And yeah, Lakitu and Greeny and Midnight both going to the pit, all coming to the pit. Big C, Name Changer, the only two soft runners left out on track.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're using it to cover off their teammate, as Big C obviously had a choice to either pit or not pit, and they made a collective decision between him and Midnight for Midnight to pit. So we shall see how that plays out. But the Kitu not that far behind Toxic, 3.3, but Toxic still comes out ahead. Greeny has gone out ahead of Hat, so that penalty that he served in the pit lane has definitely costed the Racing Point. He was a net P2. Now it's Toxic that's net first, then it's Lakitu, then it's Greeny. The order is shaken and the Racing Point are falling down the order. That is not good.
Yeah, right now Midnight is right behind Kurax, and just put a bit of perspective before the pit stops. Midnight was running in 9th position off the top of my head. He was behind Name Changer, so that is really that they've dropped so much. The two Racing Point cars, they're going to be fighting for the lower points in the race. Still points. I'd rather be in their position than in Rafa's right now, even though he is banging in some fast slaps and trading them with Dario. Is not the position you want to be in. But Big C and Name Changer staying out an extra couple of laps. They are really pushing it with the tyres. Do you think they're going to try a soft medium? I doubt they will, but could it be possible?
Well, we saw Gil do it in the Trovo social race, so maybe they've seen what Gil could do, and potentially Big C and Name Changer could do exactly the same thing. But if I do some basic maths, if I get my tyre shut out, 14 plus 20 is 34 laps. But don't forget they were under safety car conditions. So they could still do it. Maybe they are pushing to go on the medium tyres. They are going to hope for another safety car to definitely make it to the end. But it is not within the lines of impossibility. It's possible. So, you know, if I was them, if you want to go on the medium, stay out for an extra lap. But if you want to go on the hards, pit now. Name Changer's going into the pits. Big C stays out. So Name Changer, I think, is going to go on to the hards. No, but he's not. Medium tyres he goes.
Oh, has he got a penalty?
5 seconds from the safety car.
That's not going to help him at all there, because on these medium tyres he can go almost to the end. Will moving up another position ahead of Benny now, which I believe once they all come to the pits will be about 14th position. What if we see a safety car around about lap 20 or so? We could definitely see the hard runners coming to the pits early.
Yeah, I think so too, potentially as well. And some people may be forced to do the two-stop if they think the hards don't make it to the end. But Big C has got to be careful. The crossover point is now for the medium. Skivan is catching up to this little group. Skivan's around about 1/10 behind Kernat Passion, with a little bit of a lock-up from Compassion there as well. Skivan is known for these alternate strategies. Let's see if we can get the edge on these two drivers as they head towards now the last corner of turn 14. Big C stays out, so I'm guessing he's going to go. Oh, nope, he's going into the pits. And does he go for the mediums? Yes, he does.
I think he's also got a penalty too.
Yes, he did. I forgot about that. I forgot he had a stop go, but I realised he also got it in the safety car period too.
Oh, they're all getting penalties in this race, and that really is taking the fun out of it a little bit there. Because the fight for the mediums, which could have been way up the grid, is now going to be in 15th and 16th position. It's a shame that they got the penalties, which they probably didn't deserve, and they can't get them removed because they were on the safety car.
And I think I'm a bit worried because I might have jinxed Big C with his point streak. He was still on a point streak up until now, so yeah, this could be the race where he loses out, but you never know, never say never. Like I said earlier on this race, we could see some of the big hitters make a mistake as we head towards lap 15, the quiet part of the race, of course, but we've still got a long way to go in this race. We're almost at halfway distance in about 5 or 6 laps time, and it's just going to come down to pure mentality as well. That's another crucial thing in the world of esports as well. It's not just about your physical, it's about keeping yourself mentally fit. You've got to think positive throughout. If you have a bad mentality, then it may not help you at the rest of the race, because you may start to be aggressive in terms of moves and stuff like that. So, and especially around Zandvoort, if you make too many mistakes too. We could see Greeny having a nice battle with Lakita as well. Both of them pitted earlier on, and they're fighting for a net P2 of this race. Those two could be likely to score podiums. Lakita could be scoring his first podium of season 26, and he will be potentially very happy with that. Lakita is a strong driver. He likes Zandvoort as well, so he's looking quite confident here as well. But I wasn't expecting him to be this high up, but he's definitely showing that he's on the way to going into the top 10 of this championship, because this could potentially happen.
Absolutely, he's been definitely one of the quicker drivers in the division, but he has, from what I remember, he's not been able to produce the results. Running in 13th in the championship right now. He got 8th position in Hungary and no points in any other races that he started. Granted, he didn't do Britain or Spain. Skiban now coming into the pits. He's going to go onto the hard tyres to run to the end. So it's a little early. He could have stayed out a couple more laps. Name changer already posting the fastest lap. You can see the pace on those medium tyres though.
Yeah, I know, but the danger is, could he get in puncher territory? But we talked about the safety car playing to full effect on these strategies, so you never know with Name Changer. But he's stuck behind Faz on the hard, so any chance of him having clear air between himself and another car is just impossible for him. So that means he's got a lot of work to do. He just can't afford to have any spins at all, because otherwise it can cost him so much time. So watch out for those medium runners of Big C and Name Changer. We still yet to find out what the people on the hards are going to do. I think most of them will be going on the softs pretty soon as well. I'm just trying to think, when will they go on the softs? Around about lap 22 to 24 is when we will see these guys go on the softs. Well, Will, Hadler, Benny and Compassion. So they've still got a long way to go this race yet. But meanwhile, Totti Tomato on those pressure hards gets the move done on Benny. And here we go. Totti Tomato up into 4th on track. He's still in the net lead at the moment, but he's got a comfortable gap between himself and Lakitu. So he's going to try and gain every second possible to make sure that if he does get a penalty, he still gets that race victory.
He's got a really good mentality, Toxic Tomato, for all the hardship so far in this season and being quite a long way from his teammate. He's never given up, so I really do commend him for that. And in the words of a good friend of mine, mentality is key. So he's definitely got that mentality about him, and now he could be rewarded for that. He could get his first win that has been eluding him so far this season.
Yep, I mean, he is an F2 champion, so you would expect him to win. There were the bookies' favourites to win the title was Toxic Tomato, and Rafa's been leading the whole way. But this could be Toxic's chance to close the gap to Rafa that he desperately needs right now. At the moment, Rafa's in danger of getting no points for a second week in a row. Kurat has got a 3-second time penalty, one of the first penalties that we've seen, which is not speeding in the pit lane. But there we go. The number 9 free car of Will goes into the pit onto the mediums. That is interesting. I'm just trying to do the basic maths. Can that go to the end? Yes, it can. That's interesting. I thought he would go wait for a bit longer on the softs, but I'm guessing he's just not liking those hard tyres.
Well, I guess with this old strategy, and that's good from Skivan, just letting his teammate buy different strategies. But with that medium to hard strategy, you don't have to worry about saving your tyres at all throughout the race. You can just go pedal to the metal and keep going throughout and never having to lift off. So I think he likes that in comparison to having to save the softs towards the end. I think Kurak now getting past his teammate there with a bit of a lunge off the inside into turn 11, so they swap positions, but still not for a good amount of points. I believe this is for a net P5 once everyone else comes into the pit, and when you think about it, they were 2 and 3 at the pit stops. It's not a good place to be in. I think Midnight could size off a move here. Coming down the straight, he's going to look to the left-hand side, the outside line, and he's actually going to pick up a little bit of slipstream from Kurak, braking later at around about the 50-meter board. He gets a good exit, side by side, coming towards turn 2, and turn 3 is their contact. Wow, Pat defending well there.
Yeah, Pat wanting that position badly. I mean, he could be on for his best result ever in this league in PSGL F2, and things are looking strong for the Racing Point driver. He wants to forget what happened earlier on in the race with those penalties and concentrate on the end goal. Now it's to finish this race and get more than 0 points. He wants to get his first point of the season, but every point counts around here, and it could make a difference to a few positions in this championship. And there's some people that have been making moves that we weren't expecting to make, so shows that the risk that these guys are taking to wanting to get positions. Meanwhile, I think the 2 Racing Points just need to get that gap closing to these other guys who are still battling for position. Luke still yet to pit, of course, and he's going to have Greeny catching up very soon. I think he's actually catching up now. But again, Greeny's going to find it hard to overtake. Not leaving that much space, Luke and Greeny, but I think Luke is staying ahead. But if I was Luke, I would let Greeny pass because you're on a different strategy. Ski Van is out. Let's go on board with Dario. Nope, he's retired in the pits. Okay, let's not go on board with Dario then.
Oh, I'm a bit confused by that, actually. He wasn't having any issues. Felt like, I mean, he wasn't on the best strategy in the world, but it certainly wasn't over, and there's a lot of the race left to go, so I wouldn't have retired if I were Givan in that situation. So I guess it is his choice whether he continues or not, but he's made that decision now and he's out of the race completely. No second chances here at Zandvoort.
Yep, exactly. I mean, you don't really want to give up, but Ski Van had 2 great results in a row, and to have Zandvoort added to the list of his DNFs, that's not good for him. So at least he can focus on Monza, where he can gain quite a bit as well, just like previous seasons, of course. But meanwhile, Toxic Tomato's got to go get past 2 more cars, and then he would have passed all the traffic that he needs to take the lead on the track. So he's got Hadler and Compassion to deal with at the moment, and we can see the gap between the leader and the net leader, which is 1.3 seconds, but between the other cars and Lakita is 4 seconds. So already the pit stop lost around about 16 to 18 seconds. So the top 2 on track are going to come in around about 16th place, where near Rafa is, or even 15th. I'm not entirely, actually no, yeah, 16th place, unless Rafa could gain quite a bit of time on Will. So, you know, they're going to be lower down the field at the moment, but they'll be on soft to the end. So this race is not over for them unless they don't get lapped, of course. But we shall see, as we are now halfway into this race. And will Compassion and Handler think about pitting now?
I think they might try and stretch their stints a little bit more, just to have a little bit. Actually, I think no, he's not going to come in now. I thought he was hugging the inside line on exit there to get the go into the pits. Here comes Toxic Tomato, not in a rush to make a move on Hadler, who locked up heavily. And now look at this, he's side by side. Will Hadler let him by here? I don't think he will, because he's fighting for a position with Compassion. He doesn't want to lose time on him, and that is going to be hampering the Williams car. But I think committing to the strategy of the hards to softs, they're going to do either come in this lap or the next lap, I would think.
They've got to, because otherwise, I think there is a danger. The crossover point is pretty much almost, I think, reached in a way. So I think, yeah, I think they pretty much lost it, to be honest, I think, at this time. So, you know, I think you're going to be losing so much time. You're already in danger of being in last place. Just pit now. You're not going to lose that much time. The softs can last about 14 laps. I think we're almost 10 laps into the end of the race. So if you pit now, you're not going to lose that much time. So let's see what both of them decide to do. Both of them stay out. That is interesting. So I'm guessing they don't want to gamble too much. They don't want to get punches. But again, you don't want to lose track position, and you're probably going to lose even more if you stay behind. It's CC Brain, no. He goes into the pits, and I thought he was saying a stop go, but it was just the game having mind games for me at the moment. But yeah, CC Brain onto the soft. I believe did he start on the hards or did he start on the mediums? Let me check race director. Second. CC Brain. Oh, yep, he started on the hard, so he's committing soft to the end. So, yeah, he wants clear air, but I think he's a guy that can make those tyres last. So, he's done the right thing pitting when he did. Rafa needs to pit soon as well for the soft as well.
Yeah, Rafa probably won't get to the end on that set of hards, so he could just box and go on to the soft tyres, just put in a fast start to maybe steal some points away from another person, because even though he's not going to get points for being outside the top 10, that's still him denying someone else inside the top 10 the fastest lap. So that is probably in his best interest right now. It's very, very unlikely that he'll get points for Lincoln Passion. He's going to come in, Hadler's going to stay out, Benny is going to come in. So they've actually decided to box Benny before Hadler, when Benny was behind Hadler at that point. So it's a bit of an interesting strat there, but they are going to come in for the soft tyres and once the end.
Maybe Hadler's a faster driver compared to Benny, so maybe they're trying to cover off Hadler and try and see what he could do. But I'm a bit sure. I thought it would have been the other way around. I thought Hadler would have pitted first due to the fact he didn't want to lose that much time. But again, till the houses will be caught up in any traffic anyway. But Benny is around about 9/10 behind Rafa now. So he's going to be ahead of Rafa no matter what happens. But you're not going to score points unless you're in the top 10. So it's just more about brownie points and glory points for Benny now, as he is now going to be fighting against the championship leader. He's still going to be the championship leader, Rafa, at the end, but not quite so much. It's going to be a 16-point gap reduced to, I think the gap, if I look at the gap, it was 60, around about, I think it's 22. It will be, I think, if I do the maths, I think it will be around about 6 points gap now between Toxic and Rafa. So that just shows if he had a bad race, then the championship can turn on its head here.
Yeah, Rafa with two really poor results, and probably not by his own fault. He got damaged in Belgium, and then that completely shafted him out. And he's actually going to come into the pits because he's not going to see him on those tyres. I've just noticed, Dario's retired. Oh.
Safety car? No, he's in the pits.
It's in the pits. But one thing I want to say is that Hadler got probably the most stupid 3-second time penalty I've ever seen. He came into the pit lane and he went over the entry line just a tiny bit, and he actually got a warning for that, and it amounted to a 3-second time penalty. He's just coming into the pits.
That is a shame. That is a similar situation was Kimi Räikkönen, but he missed it completely, and he got a 5-second. He only just had one bump on it and penalty for Hadler. So that is just something that the game needs to sort out, really, in terms of that. But I'm sure it means you can't really cut off too much of the pit entry, because otherwise it's going to be people on the side trying to do the overtake, and it's just not going to work. So maybe they're trying to keep it consistent per track, but we will never know. We'll never know, won't we? But on lap 27, the gap between Toxic and Lakitu has dropped quite a bit, actually. Lakitu is gaining, which is a surprise, really. We could still see Lakitu maybe getting the win, 2 seconds adrift. I am going to check penalties. I'm praying to God Toxic has no penalties right now. He's on 2 warnings. If he gets 2 more, he gets a penalty. Lakitu, he's on 1 warning. So, and one thing I've just seen. Oh, that's interesting. You can actually see the pit stop time and what if they had front wing change or not, and what tyres they've been on. That's cool. That's a good feature that they've introduced in this game. Oh, I like this. This is great. I might use this more often. I like this.
It shows how consistent the game is with pit stops. You're pretty much always going to get 2 2.5 to 2.6. I'd assume in my team or career mode, if you upgrade the, I don't know what you can do to upgrade the pit stops, but I'm pretty sure you can do that. It's something in contract. I think so. I remember it in the last game. I haven't played career mode at all this season.
Well, that's intriguing. I may want to try that myself. I may try it after this race, because I'm doing a bit of my team straight after this race. So I might have a go at it, actually. But we'll see. Obviously, no, actually not after this race, after F1, because don't forget there is F1 and F3 still to go after this. But this race has been a bit quiet for these guys at the moment, but we can see Lakita is turning into a bit of, he kind of reminds me of Carlos Sainz. He's fought out some of the cars behind him, and now he's within 2 seconds of Doctor, but just not within DRS range. I wonder who in the chat would predicted this as a top two. I mean, Lakita is probably going to be one of my contenders for driver of the day, as he's haven't made any mistakes so far this race. Only one warning, and you know, I think he may try and force Toxic to a penalty if he can catch up for him, but I'm sure he'll be very happy with P2. But look at this, we can see the likes of Greeny, Kurat and Pat catching up to him. Kurat, don't forget, has a penalty. I'm not entirely sure about Greeny's penalty, so something that we need to keep an eye on towards the end of this race. No sign of any weather changes right now, so it looks like it's going to be dry throughout the whole towards the end. So it's going to be about pure pace with these cars. Rafa 110.3 now, the fastest lap of this race. Insane on those soft tyres. I was expecting the F1 guys to reach that, and already Rafa's reaching that in the race. That's incredible.
Yeah, he's doing really well. Unfortunate though, with that damage he got from, and those penalties that he got in the early safety car, what could have been for Rafa today, he could have extended his championship lead over Toxic Philosophy, who right now leads the Grand Prix, and I truly am praying that he doesn't get a penalty. It would be interesting to see Lakitu being a new winner, because he's been a bit of a dark horse. He said he was like Carlos Sainz. Quite funny because we've hardly seen him at all this race, which is a lot like Carlos Sainz in real life.
Yeah, I was talking about it, that he was like Carlos Sainz in the way that he was catching up, but I didn't think he was like Carlos Sainz in the way that we haven't shown much of him this season. We had a glimpse of his form in Hungary where he got, I think it was a Renault 1-2, I think, or a Renault 1-3, I can't remember, in qualifying. But he seems to be gaining more. I just want to see where he's gained more time compared to the in the sectors, because that could be interesting. He's gained quite a bit in sector 1, but obviously he's not going to be faster than Rafa and the person on the softs. He's starting to get out of Greeny's way a little bit now. 1.4 seconds now, so he's gonna have no danger there of getting stuck with Greeny, because obviously Greeny will have DRS if he catches that. But yeah, you can see Kurak's battling with Greeny. I think Lakita's gonna like that, because then he has no threat of him losing out even a potential P2. I mean, this could be a really spicy fight until the end of this Grand Prix. Let's just hope the race doesn't decide on penalties. The gap now 1.3 seconds there. Oh, has someone gone off? Oh, it's Kurak's. Ooh, so Kurak's has gone off a little bit there. He's now dropped to 7th place. What happened there? Did you see what happened?
Yeah, it was coming to turn number 1. He was right on the back of Greeny LSC, and then he just broke a little bit too late. I don't think Greeny moved in the braking zone, because they were just going for the corner, and then Kurak just went into the back of him. It's the slightest touch to the rear, and it is so unfortunate for the Racing Point driver. He had a half spin and was in the pit lane. Luckily, he didn't hit the wall and got any visible damage from what I can see, but with his penalties, because he's had quite a few in this race, he might not be in the points by the end of it.
Yeah, that is the danger for them making that kind of mistake, and already we've seen people had spins already with those medium tyres, and we saw how that's played into effect with these guys as well. And we also got Compassion. Compassion hasn't scored any points this season, don't forget. He's on the soft tyres, and he's chasing down 7-time world champion Big C. Could Compassion get the move done on Big C to score his first ever point in a PSGL league for Compassion? It'll be a good starting point. I believe he's running no assists completely. He just jumped the bullet for turning off all of his assists recently when he joined PSGL, and he's looking he's getting better race in, race out. He's had a few DNFs to his name. Let me have a look at what his he got. I think it was P11 in Spain and P14 in Belgium, but nowhere near the points. I'm not sure about penalties though. Penalties could change everything, but you know, it would be amazing. It's like Vettel versus Russell from yesterday. Typical, right?
Well, so they seem to be mirroring the Mugello race with multiple incidents in the
Ow! CT
C-brain
left.
and he's lagged out and he can't rejoin.
That is the rule. Yeah, that is the rule in this league. If you disconnect from the session, you're not allowed to rejoin ever, because obviously the penalty glitch. Oh no! Big C and Compassion made huge contact. I think that was the biggest commentator's curse I have ever seen. Compassion was on for his first point and he just made contact with Big C in quite a big way. This could bring both the Hasses to get more points of the season. Big C could be out of the points now, and it definitely was not Big C's fault. Compassion just making far too many risks, and that's not helping him, and they make contact again. Oh, keep it calm, Compassion. This is, you know, you got to leave the space, but I think Compassion made far too many risks, and it just did not pay off, and because of that, both of them are out of the points, just like that.
Heartbreak for Big C. He's had a record of points throughout the race, throughout the season actually, but that is probably most likely going to come to an end. Look at the gap between the leaders, 2 tenths with 3 laps to go. Lakitu is he's reeling him in like a fish, and he's getting really close to Toxic Tomato with only 3 to go. He can do this.
Never say never for Lakitu. We've had a Williams win and we had an AlphaTauri win. That's it this season. Could we see another constructor win? We shall see. Toxic, I think, is fighting for his life, and so is Lakitu. Both of these drivers have been in PSGL F1 before, and they are fighting really, really well. And imagine what Lakitu will be feeling in the cockpit right now. If he gets this win today, he'll be on cloud 9, but if he doesn't, he'll be like Sainz. He'll be like so close, but yet so far. He'll be happy with P2, but he wants this win. He's dropped a little bit in the final sector. That might have cost him a little bit, but I think he's still within DRS range. So let's see. He's a little bit too further back, but he's getting quite a good entry speed into turn 1. But it's not going to help him at the moment, though. I think Toxic, there's certain aspects of the track where Toxic is gaining more, and this could hurt him in the long run. Lakitu may pressure Toxic into a mistake. That's his only chance for Lakitu taking the win at this rate, because I think the only place you can overtake is turn 1, and obviously the DRS straight. Well, the 2 DRS straights, really, and potentially here as well. So there's not many chances to do it. You only got a few more chances, and this is make or break for Lakitu. I don't know who I want to win here. I don't know if I want Toxic or Lakitu.
I'd be happy with both. I really would like for both these guys to win, but of course, in F1 there can only be one winner. And with the DRS, he's definitely losing out a lot in the middle sector and probably the final sector as well. And that's partly down to the dirty air being so prevalent in this game that you can hardly keep behind someone without losing time. And yeah, he's lost a lot here. 8 tenths back from Toxic Tomato. He's going to have to use some of his DRS just to keep within range of overtaking to Toxic Tomato. With 1 lap to go in this race, he's going to have to do it this time by.
And I think Toxic Tomato has the edge here with the ERS, 13%, whereas Lakitu was only on 1. And the danger, if you get past 10% or lower, that is when you start to lose a lot of power. And both of these are in danger territory right now. Lakitu's now going to have the advantage here as well. We're gonna stay on battle with these two to see how much time Lakita. I think Lakita gains a lot in sector 1, but where he loses it is I think the last part of sector 2. So he's got to gain a bit in the DRS because otherwise it's game over. So let's see. Is he gonna gain? Oh, he's losing time again. He's losing. I think Toxic has, outjudged him there. But look at that. Lakita's gained more on him again. This is not over, but Toxic just had more straight line speed. We got a yellow flag. That's Will that's dropped it. Will could be losing out on some points here, but Lakita fell short. He almost had a chance for a win today, but Toxic Tomato, after weeks and weeks of trying, wins his first race of F2 in season 26. He's now top of the timings. Lakita by only 4 attempts though. That is heartbreaking for him, but he's still getting his best result of the season. Greeny gets his second podium in a row. Faz with a good result as well. So a good result for Williams, for Renault this week. With Midnight getting a good result. Name Changer going to get a good result as well. Well done to Pat. He gets his first point of the season. So well done to him, which puts Compassion all the way down to last place in the championship. Hadler gets some points too, and so does Will. And Big C retires from the session, and for a second week in a row as well. Rafa doesn't score points, which brings the gap down to around about 6 points.
Well, the season really has been flipped on its head. Rafa winning every race up until Belgium, and it has just completely gone downhill from him there. No points ever since Spain, and that has allowed Toxic Tomato now taking the win to really close up on his teammate. It is getting quite heated in the championship fight. They've still got a number of races to go. We're about at the halfway point of the season as of Italy, so it's definitely not over for these guys. And we could see some surprises entering the fray as Faz still is in that fight too. He's not a million miles away. And Will, of course, with his... I actually still think he did get points. The AlphaTauri driver, he can definitely still be within... Sorry?
Yeah, Will got points.
Oh, yeah, that's good then.
Yeah, I think he got 2 points. So that is impressive for Will. So he's still on the up, I've got to say. So your results for tonight: Toxic Tomato wins from Lakitu, from Greeny, from Faz, and we got Midnight, Name Changer, Pat, Hadler, Will, and Benny getting the last pointer. Haas on double points today. Then we got Kurat in 11, just misses out after starting pole position. Then we got Compassion in 12th, Rafa in 13th, and Luke being the last of the finishers. And I think because Big C and CT Brain completed at least 90% of the race, and so did Skivan and Darry. No, actually no, just because of CT Brain and Big C completed 9% of the race, they were still classified, so that DNF would not count. I've got to say, I think that's relief for Big C and CT Brain. But what do you think to that race, Dan?
Well, that was a really interesting race, to say the least. We saw some great results for some of our drivers. I wouldn't say it was the most action-packed in the world, but there were definitely some highlights for that race, and I would be pleased if I were the driver scoring points, because that was a tough race of attrition. So well done to all of those guys in the points.
Yeah, and for the ones that weren't in the points tonight, I hope they have a much better result next week when we do go to Monza. Monza is known for its rain as well. I'm just pointing it out there. And watch out for Turn 1 as well. And I wonder if people are going to forget the slipstream rule next week. I hope they don't. Otherwise, they could be suffer some huge consequences. I've been at GS Games 95. Dan's been at V8 Phil. Thank you very much for joining me once again.
It's always been a pleasure to come in and do the F2 streams, and I can't wait for next week.
Apologies for the mic issues at the start of the stream. Luckily, we got it fixed pretty quickly though. And don't forget to watch F1 and F3, which is going on right now. Both of them, I believe, are just about to hit the end of their qualifying sessions, and F1 is predicted to be very, very close with, I think, some more people going into the 107th. Actually, nope, they're having a wet qualifying session, so scrap that. So we're not going to see people in the 107s in F1 because it is wet there. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the F1 guys cockpit right now, but at least we're in the commentary box. But we'll see you next week, same time at 7 o'clock for the Italian Grand Prix around Monza. Have a good evening and goodbye.